What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? How are you doing? Yes, I'm so loving this 30 Days to Happiness challenge. I am seeing so many transformations. So many people are inboxing me, and it has been freaking amazing. So many people did not realize how our emotions really impact our body, the way that we have been teaching the past few days about how this really works hand in hand with body pain that we feel. So today we're talking about the inner thighs. Um, and so that comes from our fear of being vulnerable. So if you experience nervousness or you become untrusting around people, especially individuals that suffer from social anxiety, you might also feel that inner thigh pain because our legs biologically are programmed to run at the first spot of danger and fear. And so when we see that, it is stored in our inner thighs. So if you find yourself like your thighs are always sore or they're always hurting or you're having pain in them, think about that. And of course, that also attaches to our knees. Hello. So when you think about these things, think about what it is, where your fear is at. What is making you vulnerable? And why do you fear being vulnerable? And I know everybody that I've ever worked with, including myself, is we fear being vulnerable because we're always taught that if you're vulnerable, you'll get hurt. That is a big misbelief. It really is. Yes, we can get hurt if we're vulnerable. So part of this happiness challenge and part of working with me, what we create and identify are those boundaries that you need to prevent yourself from being hurt by people that are not supposed to be in your circle, to help you trust that intuition and that feeling when it's telling you not to be completely vulnerable and you still do it anyway. Yeah. But the biggest part of vulnerability is just being vulnerable to yourself and understanding your feelings and your emotions and how that could really impact your life is just truly being vulnerable to the feelings and the emotions that you feel and that you observe and that you realize that are being a part of your life. And so often we ignore that vulnerability even with ourselves. And so what happens is we choose to be slightly vulnerable to individuals and extremely guarded toward individuals because we don't want to get hurt. We don't want to be, in this situation to where we're just hurt beyond devastation. But what we don't realize is when we practice withholding and the fear of vulnerability, that's the energy you're pushing out. You're pushing out that energy of fear. You're pushing out that energy of fear of vulnerability. So, guess what? You're not getting vulnerability from someone else because all they can feel is your fear, your blockages, what you're holding back to. So, when you think about vulnerability, don't look at vulnerability as bad. Like I said in several of my videos, like people that have been in the military or people that grew up having to be in that caregiver role or all of these other places in life where we have played a role and we were not being true and genuine to ourselves, then the parts that we were being vulnerable with were parts that we didn't even know that we could be vulnerable with. That we just let that happen, and they got the back end of only the things that we chose to be vulnerable about. So we're not being truthful with ourselves or to any type of relationship if we're not truly being vulnerable. And we're scared that people will judge us, but if people understood why we do things the way we do, or the why we feel the way we do, and even if we identify that within ourselves, like, well, why do I feel this way when this person does this? Well, that's connected to this, and this is why I feel uncomfortable. I think one of my stories that I told is when we moved into our new home, I never ever have had pictures hanging up in my house of people. It has always been decorative, always. And a part of that came from is, I think as a child, I was never, like I told, I was never put on the walls. I was put in places that where I couldn't be seen. And for me, that was major. So when we moved into this home and we wanted to hang up pictures, my first instinct was no. And then as my husband was asking me questions, I realized, like, wait, that doesn't apply to me anymore. So why am I still holding on to that? And so that's the vulnerability even within yourself that you have to recognize. And once you start to recognize, like, why do I feel a certain way about certain things? Or why don't I want people a part of my life? What is it that you're hiding? What is it that you're scared of? Address those things. Because guess what? When you move that negativity out of your life and that trauma that you're holding on, and you're bringing in the positive and you're bringing in this love and vulnerability, you're going to attract people that are going to nurture and embrace that instead of use that against you. So when you're guarding it, it's going to be used against you. When you open about it, no, the people that you attract would never use that against you. They would never do anything to hurt you. They would honor your vulnerability. And that is key. The amount of people that you're missing out on. And that was one of the biggest transformations that I had. I went to a retreat in Costa Rica back in August. I didn't know why I was supposed to go there. I'd never gone to a retreat before in my life. I've been to small ones, but never anything big, never for that long, and never for one that I knew that they were going to dig into my personal life. And I had to dig into it, but I was ready. And when I got there, what I realized is there was 42 beautiful souls from all over the world, all over the world. And we all came together in Costa Rica, and we left that with the best relationships ever. To be vulnerable in front of individuals and have them love and nurture, protect, and support you. And then you sit back and be like, why have I not done this before? Why have I been neglecting myself of this beauty, of these relationships? Because I've been so scared of all the other things I've experienced in life. So I'm telling you all of this to let go, open up. The one thing that my clients love about working with me is that they know that when they come to me, there's absolutely zero judgment. It is a place of comfort and a place of safety and a place of nurturing. And once you establish that and you have that type of relationship with someone and you see that, hey, I can't trust my feelings to other people, you begin to open up and you start to connect to more people that are just like that, to the people that you need to fill you up and add to you. Not that they fill you up, but you fill yourself up first. But you also have these other cups surrounding you that are filling you up as well, of love and nurturing that you never knew existed. So learn to be vulnerable. To me, being vulnerable is strong. Hiding your vulnerability is weak. Anybody can do that. Anybody can hide. That's easy. Hiding is easy. Being vulnerable and standing there and say, hey, this is me. Take me as I am. Learn, love me, and say this to yourself. Be vulnerable to you. Love you. Know that whatever you're experiencing and whatever you're going through, it makes you better if you embrace the moment and the opportunity and the vulnerability instead of trying to reject it all. I promise. So that is it for today. Being vulnerable. So that's your task for homework, is be vulnerable with you. What is one thing that has always been there that you have always just wanted to get out and admit to the world? Do it. Just admit it. Just be vulnerable and look at the energy you put out by letting that go. The beauty that comes in from that's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So I will see all of you tomorrow. And tomorrow we're working on our outer thighs, our love handles, like they call for us women. Yeah, we're going to work on our outer thighs, and that is about frustration and impatience. So, see you all, you lovely beings, tomorrow, and I hope you have a fabulous day.